Hello everybody, Samantha White here, and today I've decided to give you a glimpse into my zero waste kitchen. I decided to do this because I've been showing you guys little snapshots of my kitchen and my house in general on Instagram, and you guys have seemed to really like it, and I really like showing it. So I thought, why not just do a video on it? So a little disclaimer before we get started. I did clean my kitchen before I did this video, so it is cleaner than, normal, because normally there's a lot of dirty dishes. But this is what my kitchen looks like on a regular basis. I didn't do any massive reorganizing or decluttering or hiding of things. This is just how my kitchen looks when it's clean normally. So let's get started. All right, welcome to my kitchen. So right now I'm currently standing in my living room staring into my kitchen. And so I'm going to just take you through it. So right away here on the left-hand side of the doorway, we have my refrigerator. And next to the fridge, we have this little step stool with clothespins on it, which I use to do laundry. And then we have this bag, which I got for Christmas a couple years ago. And inside the bag are jars that I have used and that are going to be taken back to the co-op that I get groceries at, either to refill with bulk items or to donate so other people can use them, which is a pretty cool program that my co-op has. Now immediately across from the refrigerator, you will see a stove, and so on top of the stove, I keep it very simple. I just keep my kettle. Above the stove, on the right-hand side, you'll see an oven mitt or hot pan holder, I guess, that I use with my kettle because the handle does get hot. And then you'll also see this cabinet. So inside the cabinet, I have all the appliances that I don't use super often, but that we do use, so I like to keep. I have a crock pot, a blender. Both of these are from James's parents. They got them for their wedding, I believe, and so they're pretty old, but they still work, and so we're gonna keep using them until they no longer are fixable. And then I have a panini press and a butter churn that my dad got me for Christmas 2 years ago, I believe. So that's what's in that cabinet. Above the cabinet are some knickknacks. That cookie jar in the middle actually used to belong to my grandma, so I'm very happy I got that. That was my mom's. So going next to the stove is the sink. This sink has a built-in set of shelves above and below it. So I'm gonna just start with the above. Up on the very top, you can see 4 green jars. My grandma on my dad's side actually used to make wine wine in those jars, and I was lucky enough to get 4 of them. And I love them because they remind me of my grandma. So in the right side of this cabinet, you'll see everything we need for making tea and coffee, basically. So at the very top, you will see a teapot and a pitcher. Down one shelf, you'll see tea. So this is loose leaf tea. These two are clearly not loose leaf tea. I got these as gifts from my aunt, mostly because she wasn't gonna use them. So I've been using them, and when I'm finished with them, I will be getting the loose leaf versions of these. And then right here, this is not very zero waste. It's James's hot chocolate. And this is the box of filters that we have currently for his ChemX coffee pot, though I think we're gonna be moving to a reusable filter in the future. Down one shelf, you'll see all of our mugs. These are all the glass mugs that we use on a regular basis to take to work and school with our Eco Jars lids. These are shot glasses that I've gotten from various locations. This one's from Peru. That one back there is from Wales, which is pretty cool. And these are all the mugs that we just use to drink out of at home. So moving over, you'll see all of our spices. So I have my 2 mortar and pestles. One is made of marble and one is made of cast iron. And then I have all of these spices that I fill up in the bulk bins where I shop. Now above the spices are these 2 shelves that hold all of my large mixing bowls and small mixing bowls, basically. So all my bowls and everything are up here. To the left of the cabinet with the bowls, we have all of our glasses, so you can see that none of them match. Same with all of our bowls on the next shelf. None of them match. They all are very functional, but they don't match. And our plates, which some of them match, but not all of them. Now down below that set of cabinets, we have our sink. And so on the right-hand side, we have a wooden drying rack with just a jar that I use to put silverware in when I'm drying dishes. In the middle is our sink, nothing very fancy. We have two I made these dish rags. They're just knit from cotton. And the reason we have two is because I'm not sure, because I have two out right now. And then on this side of the sink, we have a bar of soap and baking soda, both of which I use to clean and do dishes. And then we have oil. So this is coconut oil, olive oil, and then sunflower oil in the orange container. And I use these when baking and cooking. And so I like to keep them out on the counter so they're easy to use right next to my stove. Below the oil, there is a set of drawers. So I'll just quickly take you through them. In the top, there is all of our silverware. No, it is not organized. It just gets thrown in there because we're gonna use it anyway. In the second drawer, which is probably the fullest drawer in the entire apartment, there are lids. Lots and lots of lids. Ooh. Third drawer down has random kitchen items that I use all the time. Well, most of them I use all the time. Some of them like this. I don't use that often, but I like to have it just in case. So there's random, there's lots and lots of measuring cups and strainers and funnels, and then just some fun stuff. And in the very bottom drawer, there are all of our towels, beeswax wraps, there we go, say that 5 times fast, and our dishcloths, which clearly this one has seen better days. It might be time to compost that one. Over on the left-hand side of the sink, there's one drawer, I guess, and then there's a cabinet. So in the top drawer are all of our little kitchen utensils. So graters, sharp knives, bottle openers, meat thermometers, mashed potato mashers, and pizza cutters, apparently. And then in the drawer below that, there's all my cast iron, which currently the other 3 cast iron pans that I own, which would normally be sitting right in front of the Dutch oven, are in the oven because I just washed them. And then underneath that is all of my pots and pans. So this is just all of the pots and pans I use to cook with. Okay, so moving away from the sink, sort of, right up here next to the sink, I have a kitchen scrubber that I use to wash my cast iron pans out. Since I don't use soap on them, I just use hot water and sometimes baking soda. It's nice to have a scrubber to really scrub things that are hard to get off of them occasionally. Right next to the door here, back up a little bit, you can see it's next to the door, there is a coat rack where we hang all of our coats. I got that coat rack for like 50 cents or something at a secondhand shop, so it's awesome. Then there's our door, nothing super fancy. And no, that's not an actual curtain, that is just a piece of fabric I put up there. Now, next to the door on the left-hand side, you will see our microwave. So this is our microwave, and you can also see my shoes in it. So I know some people have very strong feelings against microwaves. I personally really like our microwave because it keeps me on the right track. I can make a whole bunch of food on Monday and slowly heat it up in the microwave all week long, and it keeps me from going out and buying a whole bunch of junk food or packaged food. On top of the microwave, we have kitchen items that I use daily, sort of, most of them. So we have some spatulas, a wooden spoon, a plastic spatula, some tongs, a ladle, and this rolling pin, which I was given as a gift. I have not used it yet, I will not lie to you, but it has such potential for use, so I can't get rid of it. And then a strainer that I use when I make stock. Next to that is a cup full of straws, glass and metal with their cleaners. And next to that, I also have this little thing which I use to water my plants with, but when it's not in use, I keep it like that, so I try and minimize the amount of rust on it. Below the microwave, you will see our trash can. I don't keep track of how much trash we actually create, but this is the only trash can we have in the house. And you may notice the lovely design on it. I got this can when I was like 13 for my birthday as like a spa kit. And somehow, it used to have a lid on it. And so I used to take it with me and carry important things in it when I moved. But somehow it has made it into this house without the lid, which is not as handy, but it works as a trash can. And then this cabinet right behind the trash can, I'll see if I can sort of show you. Oh, sort of. It's pretty dark. So that cabinet right there, I actually use when I get rid of things. So I'm the type of person who gets super paranoid about getting rid of stuff. Like, I am terrified that I will get rid of something that I will eventually want to use. So to mitigate that problem, I actually, when I want to get rid of something, or when I think I'm going to want to get rid of something, I put it in that cabinet right there underneath my microwave, and I store it up until that cabinet is full. So sometimes that's 6 weeks, sometimes that's 6 months. And then at the end of that time, I take everything out, I look through it all, see if there's anything that I've actually been missing or looking for or that I want to keep. And if the answer is no, I give it all away with no regrets. So moving on from the microwave, you will see in between the microwave and this desk, there are a couple of things. One of them is a paper shredder, and the other is a secondary bin for our compost. And on top of that, there is a box that has jars in it. James's mom is nice enough to send us canned meat. And so when we use the meat, we, sorry about the whole dirty microwave thing going on there, ignore that. But when we use the meat, we rinse or wash the jars out and put them back in this box. And then when we go home to see her, we will take them all with us and she can sterilize them and reuse them. Next to the microwave and the paper shredder, we have this little desk. So we didn't have very much cabinet space in this kitchen, and so I brought this little desk in. On top of it, you will see coffee. So this is a Chemex coffee maker. It's a pour-over coffee maker. I just got it for James for Christmas about a month ago, and we absolutely love it. So this is the bulk coffee I get. I actually buy it in a bag, and then I bring it home and I put it into this glass jar because it is a very old vintage glass jar that I found in the basement of the house I grew up in, or the cellar of the house I grew up in. So I don't want to break it, so I leave it here next to the Chemex, which clearly we have used this morning and not washed. And that's just a random mug, I don't know, ignore that. And then next to the mug, this is where we store our water bottles when we're not using them. So currently the big insulated one is sitting here, and these are Expo markers that I'm currently trying to use up, and a grease pencil that I use to write on jars. Underneath this desk, there is our compost bin, which honestly, it doesn't look great inside right now because I just put a whole bunch of food in there. So I'm just gonna leave that to your imagination. But composting is a huge part of what keeps our house zero waste. And so we do have one bin in the kitchen, and we also have a bin in our living room closet. Next to the compost bin, there are drawers, more drawers. So in the top drawer, I have a scale. You can see I have been making things on it because I have stuff in it, poor scale. So I use that when I make products or when I'm mailing things, handy. The next drawer down, it's sewing stuff. So I ran out of room in my living room to store sewing stuff, so it's all in this drawer. And the bottom drawer down, which is not the cleanest drawer in the world, but it stores all of our stuff that is recyclable but cannot go into the zero sort recycling that we have currently. So I need to take it to the landfill so that they can properly recycle it, or the waste management plant, I guess it is, that happens to house the landfill. And they can properly recycle this Pyrex that has shattered. So I just haven't done it yet, and it's nice to have a cabinet that you can keep everything in so it's not in the way. To the left of the desk, I just have a chair. And then moving over, I have this set of drawers. Well, I guess it's like one drawer on wheels, which I found at a secondhand shop down the street for like $5. On top of it, if you can see through this ridiculous lighting, is my cutting board. I leave it out all the time because I use it on a daily basis. Down below is where I keep fruits and vegetables that don't need to be refrigerated. So currently you can see garlic, bananas, and potatoes. And in the back there are some packaged items just because I work at a grocery store, and if some items have expired but they're still good, I take them home instead of throwing them away. On the bottom here, in this drawer, we have some vodka, some fruit juice it looks like, and my Fry Daddy, which is my deep fat fryer, which I love, and I don't care what anyone says about it. I love that thing. And then next to it is some pineapple juice with some nutritional shakes. So these are Relive is what it's called. It's just a type of nutrition shake. I know that these are not zero waste in the slightest, but I really like them, and they are one of my non-zero waste treats that I give myself because they make me feel better. So that is what's in this cabinet. So moving past the cutting board, we have my little built-in pantry. So this is a set of 3 built-in shelves. On the top shelf, you can see I have vinegar, canned corn that I canned, some canned jelly that James's mom canned, some canned meat from James's mom, and some honey that is not canned but is in a jar. And then we also have some Vegemite here because I had a friend from Australia staying with me a couple months ago now. Down here on the other 2 sets of shelves, we have dry bulk goods. I'm not going to go through them all because there is a lot, but this is all of the stuff that I take to the store and fill up in bulk. Now, underneath all of that bulk stuff, so right underneath there, we have 3 drawers. The top one has baking pans, an extra cutting board, muffin tins. This is my hand mixer, which didn't fit with all the other appliances, but I love it, so it's down here with the baking stuff. And then this is a glass serving tray way down at the bottom there. The second drawer down has new lids for jars for when I can stuff. It has some cookbooks, a cooling rack, and another baking pan, and my roasting pan also goes in here when it's not in the refrigerator. And in the third drawer down, which might be my favorite drawer in the entire house, we have all my jars, and then also all the little jars and containers that I like to keep. They're all in here. And way below, on the very bottom, I have this cubby hole here, which, if you open, contains all of my gardening stuff. And it's really big, actually. You can't see back there, but it goes on for a while. There's a lot of stuff in there. So moving back away from the pantry, this is the refrigerator and freezer. So on top of it, you'll see a juicer as well as a base that I use to store greens in sometimes when I have a lot of them in the summer. And then down here, you'll see our refrigerator, which we just keep a towel on all the time. And I'll give you a quick peek inside my refrigerator. It's nothing fancy at all. There's just a lot of random containers of whatever I can get to fit. Alright, so that was my zero waste kitchen video. I know it was a little long, so I really appreciate it for all of you who have hung in there and watched the whole thing. If you have any questions about anything I talked about or anything I showed and didn't really explain, please ask in the comments below. I would love to talk to you guys about it. And if not, I hope you liked this video. Thanks again so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye!